Hey, honey. We're doing some, excuse me, adjusting my mic the tiniest bit. We're doing some Tukey, we're doing some expeditions. It's a fairly normal day today. I've been weirdly busy these past few days. Hang on. First one, let's do circus. Circus is easy enough. Best route's probably Registry of Light World. I just hope this isn't I hope this doesn't require a mask, because sometimes these connections will require a mask and it won't tell you in advance. Okay, it's Shinto. It's not that bad. But I've been doing homework for my classes, and the homework for my image synthesis class in particular was unbelievably cool, even if it took ages to run. Because, fun fact, there is a Python library called PyTorch that is, like, used a ton for neural network stuff. It's used for AI stuff. Most of the time when there's stuff on the internet that talks about AI, they're probably just using PyTorch, because it's simple. It does everything you needed to do. You still have to code stuff, but it's like, barely. You plug and play. You look up stuff online for how to make a neural network, and then you make a neural network. I went the wrong way. Oh. Hang on. Yeah, shoot, circus. I forgot circus is outside here. Oh, weird things. What are these? What was that? Yeah, right, this is circus. I wonder if the clowns in here are going to be aggroed or not. Looks like no. There's like a girl you can save, I think. Yeah. Oop, I don't think... Yep, they don't care. I should have seen that coming. They don't care about invisibility. But I've been doing homework. The homework has been weirdly challenging just because it takes so unbelievably long for this stuff to work. An unfortunate downside of a class that entirely revolves around AI models is that you have to often train AI models. And a fun thing is, there are 2 installations of that library that I've been using, and there's a interesting distinction between those. One of them supports the GPU and one of them doesn't. I don't know why it's just a standard option on one of them, but I don't know why they're not just combined and just both of them are installed at the same time and just one of them uses the GPU and one of them doesn't. Or like, but they're all like, you don't have to download them separately, you have to download them separately. It's obnoxious. Ooh. And the question is, do I go where I want to? Do I go where I need to go, or do I go to Mint Town? I actually have not seen Mint Town yet. Right? Oh my god, whoa. That's from Crosswalk to Nowhere. I've got to keep that in mind, actually. But, we got instructions on how to set up a virtual environment. It's like, oh, just, you know, offload all the intensive CPU work to a virtual environment where you can load up like GPU cores and work. For some reason, the GPU is just not working at all, so it's running on the CPU. And if I were to run the current model that I'm working with on a CPU, I did the math, it would take 83 hours. Now, I don't know about you, but I cannot wait that long. Like, maybe, call me impatient if you like, but my ass is not waiting over 3 days for one program to finish running. Especially not for a homework assignment, man. But for some reason, in the virtual environment, the GPU stuff doesn't work. On my personal computer, it does, and my personal computer is good enough that I can just have it do its thing. And it takes 8 hours, but I can just leave it on overnight. Oh god, wait, Whispery Sewer, is this one of the huge areas? Sort of? Oh, wait, this is the entrance from Eyeball Cherry. Really interesting. I haven't gone this way in a while. See, I normally get to Dream Pool through the other route, which is Dreary Drains, I think? I actually forget how you normally get there. But yeah, the assignments themselves have been really, really cool. It's all, I mean, as you might be able to guess from a class titled Image Synthesis, all of them are image synthesis AI models. One of them is a VAE, which is a variation, apparently it is a variational autoencoder, which I don't fully understand, but it does exist. The second one is a DC GAN, which is a something something generative adversarial model. Or adversarial network, sorry. And then the last one is a diffusion model, which, is like the model right now. If you've heard of Stable Diffusion uses a diffusion model. It just uses a really, really in-depth, data-hungry diffusion model. But the core concepts are really cool. I think my favorite of the three is the GAN, just because the concept itself is very, very interesting to me. The way that a GAN works, the way that a generative adversarial network operates. Where the hell am I? I can't be yapping about AI. I need to actually know where I'm going, and I still don't know where I'm going, but we roll with it. The way that a GAN works is that you have, instead of just having one model that does its thing, you have two different models that are working at the same time with opposite goals. Okay, I think, yeah, I'm here. Blue. Okay, I see where I need to go. So the way a GAN model works is that you have two different things that are both working in tandem. You have one model that is trained to generate an image that looks real. And you have another one that is training to identify whether a model is real or fake. And they kind of go back and forth in a dance. And by the end of the session, by the end of the training, you end up with two models that are both really good at what they do. You end up with a model that is really good at identifying fake imagery, and then you also have a different one that, oh, okay, I can just continue to go forward and that'll lead me to where I need to go. That's cool. you have one model that's really good at generating images that look real, and you have another model that's really good at identifying whether an image is real or fake. So there's actually a lot of things you could use either of those models for, but most of the time people use it for the image generation aspect and not for the image discrimination aspect, but you could reasonably use it for both. The one downside is the dataset itself, and this is a really, really common problem with AI, and like a common bottleneck and also a common ethical concern, is where the hell is all the data coming from? A lot of these models are inherently really, really inefficient because they're probabilistic. So you kind of just have to keep supplying it with more and more and more data until it works correctly. Whatever correctly means, because you are never reasonably going to get to 100% because it's asymptotic. Let's try a Portrait Purgatory. I'm curious where that even leads. Oh, this might take a second. Basement of Oddities is a very large map. Pardon me. But yeah, out of the three, I think the GAN is my favorite. The diffusion model is also really cool, but the diffusion model suffers from the problem that it needs to have a ton of training and a ton of data to make anything half decent. So it's got even more of a problem with that than the GAN, because the way that diffusion models work is what's the best way to describe it? So, imagine that you have an image, and the image just looks perfectly normal, and you tell the computer that, oh, this image is a cat. And then you add on a little bit of noise, and then you ask it again whether it's a cat. And then you continue this over and over and over and over and over again. Crystal Star Tower, wait, I know a better way to get here. You just ask it over and over and over again whether or not this is a cat. And then after a certain point, you're not even showing it a picture anymore. You're just adding more and more and more static, and eventually you're just showing it raw noise with no image. Because it's all about I think the proper term for this is data completion. That you already know what the full picture is supposed to look like, and you're slowly like shepherding along the model so that it can get better and better at filling in the missing pieces. And then at a certain point, instead of completing an image that's like a little bit noisy, a little bit broken, you just give it nothing. You give it pure noise, and then from that, it'll freestyle and just make an image. And that's what a diffusion model does. That's what stable diffusion is that you have a model like that, and you slowly build it up from nothing into a full image. The trouble is that training takes an absurdly long time. Hang on. Let me escape Obento before I keep talking. Apologies for the artificial intelligence lore dump if you're not super keen on it, but I think this stuff is fascinating, even if it's not super ethical in the way that it's been used. Oh, acoustic lounge. All right, fine. Not my favorite area of this. Also, the music keeps getting copyright claimed every time I go here. But you know what? I'll tank it. It's not like I'm making money on these anyway. It's more just obnoxious. Just wow, these The video will now have twice as many ads. Oh, the hell do you mean locked? Is this a one-way path? Okay, yeah, it's locked from the other side. You have to go here. You have to go there once. There is a chance that I've... Oh god, I forgot how massive this area is. Nope, we're going somewhere else. I'm just gonna go with the original plan because I hate Acoustic Lounge. We're going back to Portrait Purgatory. But it's just fun. It's just fun. I like this. I like this stuff a lot. But I am also... I like to think I'm a very ethical person when it comes to stuff like this. Like, I am trying my best to find ways to use this technology in a way that is not really scummy or, you know, going to cheat people out of money or products that they deserve to maintain a hold on. I never thought I'd be a proponent of intellectual property, but in this rare case, yes. Intellectual property on the internet is important, specifically when it comes to stuff like this. Your art is your art. Now, I feel like that changes a little bit when... Oh my god, is there anywhere to get here besides Acoustic Lounge? Hang on. This is just gonna lead me right back to where I was. So is there any way that I can get here without using Acoustic Lounge? Highlight all. Ooh, there's a route. There's one singular route, and it's this one right here through Broken Shoal. Let's go here then. For some reason it wants me to go to Magnet Room. I don't know why. I guess it just really, really wants me to go in my original path. Yeah, so let's try and help it a little bit by continuing to go this path until it decides Sprout World is now the fastest path. I haven't gotten the specific route in a long time. I forget that NPC's name. It's Pupulanaro, I think? Pupulataro? I think it's Pupulataro. They're awesome, whatever their name is. I was thinking about this, by the way. Earlier today I was playing TF2, and I was kind of just chilling. I've gained a bit of a habit of logging on to TF2, going into 2 and then just playing rounds as Huntsman Sniper. And I don't want to toot my own horn, but I am a really, really good Huntsman Sniper. Maybe at one point I'll, like, record myself playing some TF2. I'll have to be careful, though, because the TF2 community can be kind of ravenous. Okay, it's the third floor on the right. But it was extremely funny that I was kind of just chilling, talking in chat. I've got a really good surf missed a headshot and then was like talking about it in chat of like, oh, I really wish I hit that. And then someone responded and it was hilarious. I got they them'd in chat, which was really funny because in retrospect, if you don't hear my voice and you just see my account and you see my profile picture and you see a lot of the things that I do and a lot of the habits that I have, I suppose it's not that much of a stretch. Okay, where the hell do I go? I mean, I play Yumatuki regularly, for crying out loud. Not that that says anything about the people that play this game regularly, but I mean, it's not that much of a stretch. It's not that much of a stretch. There are two different servers that I'm like regularly interact in that are 90% trans people and then also me. It reminds me of there was one day, or not one day, this is a whole semester. One of the most fun classes I've ever had, genuinely, was back in college. I had a class. A lot of American colleges do this, where you have to take a class for a non-Western credit, or like some equivalent of a non-Western credit. Sometimes it's called like, I think I've heard it called like a world traveler, world experience, something like that. Okay, this is the junction, I believe. So I ended up taking a class on LGBT history in the world. And I was the only guy in that entire class, and it was hilarious. I'm pretty sure I was also the only straight person in that entire class, which was also hilarious, but it was genuinely such a fun and interesting class. I didn't mind. I didn't mind whatsoever. That was an awesome class. The professor was great, the class was great. It was genuinely very interesting. It got a little... It got very somber a lot of the time just because of the subject matter. But at a certain point, what the professor would do is every class, she would put on music that was like, what's the best word for it? Just like, not necessarily music, LGBT music, but like music that like either defied gender stereotypes or just like did something similar to that. So she put on like Born This Way and Take Me to Church and stuff like that. And not to say it would put us in a bad mood, because it was usually great music, but it was oftentimes, especially with songs like Take Me to Church, it was pretty depressing. And then at one point I like asked her, hey, I mean, like on the last class, we should absolutely put on like YMCA or something. Something by the Village People or something. As like more of like a happy, uplifting, silly song, because things can get better. But that was such a cool class. I especially really liked the final project for that course. Was one of the coolest final projects I've done for any of my courses, which is a very funny statistic considering that I'm a computer science student, and even then I'm saying that. So the project itself was take a country and do an analysis of the LGBT community in that country, or like in that part of the world, do some kind of like research and analysis on that part of the world. So, in my infinite wisdom, my dumbass picked the United States of America. I had the entire world to choose, and I chose America. So, what I ended up doing, because I didn't pick that out of nowhere, I actually had a plan. I ended up doing a project on the American Southeast, specifically specifically Georgia. Because Georgia gets a bit of a bad reputation, especially outside of the Southeast. That was something I started to notice because I went to college in Pennsylvania, of all places. And the more that I went to college, and the more I talked to people and talked to them about the fact that I was from the Southeast, I got the sensation that people just didn't really... Like, there's not a lot of overlap because the US is such a gigantic country. Like, there are people in the Southeast that will never talk to people that are outside of the Southeast, and absolutely vice versa. Okay, where the crap in hell is Concrete World from here? Requires effect chainsaw. Chainsaw from here? Because the end result is frigid... Oh. Hang on. Wait a second. Frigid Meadow. Hold the phone here. That's just in here, right? Am I thinking of the right place? No, it's Frozen Glade. Sad. I thought we just walked by this place. It's another frozen area. No, yeah, this it. Okay. So it looks like there's a bunch of really good routes for this. Oh, right, because Museum can lead to Concrete World, and then Concrete World to Frigid Meadow. Let's try it through Usagiri Residence. Oh, right, this is the one where it's not directly marked. I really wish there was a way to put a light on your bike. That'd be cute. But yeah, my final project was talking about Georgia, and specifically cutting against the grain a little bit. I have a bit of a habit of doing weird stuff like that for my final projects. I'll admit. Like, weird, non-traditional prompts and ideas and implementations. I tend to do that a lot. Which one's Concrete? I think the first one is Concrete World. There was a Concrete World and there was also Asphalt World. I forget which. This is Concrete. Okay. And then from here to Frigid Meadow. Oh. What? Here? It's right here. Okay. Thank you, Roku. Very cool. So, I have a habit of doing some weird, like, non-traditional prompts for my projects, and this one was no exception. What I ended up doing was, I ended up taking the state of Georgia and sifting through, there's a massive repository called Legiscan. That's just in JSON format, every single special and regular session of Congress, broken out by state, and also on a national level, but mostly the state stuff is what I was actually after. I picked up the one for the state of Georgia for the most recent regular session, went through, found every piece of legislation that was like either directly for or against the LGBT movement, broke that out by what senator introduced it, or what member of the House introduced it. I guess it'd be member of the House because it's a state level. And then from there, hang on, Chicken World to Nazca Valley. If this is Totem Hotel, I could go the long way. Boop, boop, boo. Azure Depths, right. Boop. Oh, right, it still thinks I'm in Chicken World. This is a power for opening it up in Google. It is this one right up here. Okay. Not very Azure of you. So I ended up taking all of that legislation, breaking it out by what senator introduced it to Congress, and then taking that senator's information and linking it to a specific part of the state of Georgia. And then from there, I was able to create this big map of, I mean, exactly what you'd expect. I made this huge map of positive versus negative reception of the LGBT community throughout the state of Georgia, and it was awesome. I've been considering breaking that, like, finding a way to automate that a little bit more succinctly, and then opening that up to the rest of the United States, because that would be a really cool project. Genuinely, that would be such a cool project. But, that's all I got for now, I think. My yapping aside. This was a fun episode. I got to do some cool things. Free Expedition was the claustrophobia. I like those worlds a lot. But I have to cut myself off somewhere. I got other things I gotta do today. But that's all I got for now. Thanks so much for watching, y'all.